Good morning. Yes, we're starting with the first um, part or the first episode to um, Agribusiness Millionaire Mindset. And the first thing we'll be talking about is what is your vision? What is the vision you have going on for you? And for people that don't understand or can does not get what the meaning of vision is, right? I would be stating it so we can get it. Now, the whole concept of vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom, right? And when you're able to think about or plan a certain future based on the imaginations and the careful way you think you can get there, right? So, for example, some popular visions that you could pick understanding from is let me take Disney for example, right? Now for Disney for example, they are into entertainment, right? And because they are into entertainment, they have a specific need to make people happy, right? That is what they are for, right? What Disney actually that's just his aim to make people happy. Now that vision is a very big one, it's very broad. But then if you look at what they've done over the years is they found 1,000 ways to make people happy, right? They're in many Disney's got subsidiaries that are far more than you could imagine. Their own Natural Geographic channel, their own normal Disney channels for children, their own history channel, their own ESPN sports. Of course, they've got the whole Marvel cinematic universe going on. They've got the Star Wars, they've purchased the Star Wars, they've got Pixar. Now, if you want to start counting, they've got the Disneyland, right, across different parts of the world. So, at the end of the day, what Disney's actual vision statement is to make people happy, right? But then, of course, that vision had broadened out over time or whatever and has been expanded. So, vision, as I said earlier, is largely able to think about or plan the future with imagination and wisdom. There's something you want to become, right? How do you get there? Now, my vision statement is quite simple. It's to supercharge food security and sustainability across Africa. That is my simple vision, right? Supercharging food security across food security and sustainability across Africa. It's quite simple. That is what I've put all my 9 years of experience in the agriculture sector. I've merged it into that singular purpose, supercharging food security and sustainability across Africa. Now, it's a broad statement that I'm working towards every day to see how it becomes. But then, how do you now become a millionaire personality from just achieving that vision? You see, once you can put a vision down, it is a destination, right? You have to understand that vision is a destination that each day you wake up, you have to walk towards it. And for me, every day, that is what I do. Of course, I beside practical engagement, beside the farm I'm operating, beside the project I'm starting, beside this and that I'm putting in place. Of course, and the subsidiaries we keep launching and all the content I put out there. Of course, the goal is to supercharge for security. But I know I can't do it alone. So I'm getting people involved in it, right? So what is your own vision? What do you want to do? Can you summarize it into a single sentence? Can you put it out in just 6, 7, 8 words or less than 10 words? Your vision should be that simple, clear, and crystal. It shouldn't be so ambiguous. It shouldn't be so difficult to understand. It should be easy to comprehend, right? You will need to understand it. It has to scare you, right? I know you've heard that several places, but it has to be that big for you to feel like I hope I'm not joking. I hope I'm not playing with this thing. Because in a very few episodes from now, you understand why your vision has to be big enough to scare you, right? You want to become a millionaire. You don't want to become a thousandaire. Now, when we talk about millionaires, right, we're not talking about in naira. Whenever someone is a millionaire, they don't talk about those people in terms of naira. They talk about them in terms of dollars. So if you're going to be a millionaire as a Nigerian, then your worth, your value would accumulate into something as much as 1.4 billion naira as at right now. So it means that you have to have up to 1.4 billion naira across many things, either in properties, in your personal items, on liquidity, or you just have to be worth 1.4 billion as at today, and that's how you become a millionaire. Now, multi-millionaire now is a different thing entirely. It means you have more than 1.4. You now have maybe 2.8 or more billion within your net. That's personally, those are things that you have accountability and hold value for. Now, these are the things that you need to understand. So, but if you want to become that person, right, you want to enter that level, then your mindset is very, very important. That it is well shaping, and your vision determines how far into that you can get to. So, today, right now, what is your vision? It's not going to be cheap for you to create it. You have to think deep, right? You remember I said it is something a future you plan based on wisdom and imagination. When you see, okay, what is wisdom definition for me? Right? I believe wisdom is the right application of knowledge, right? The right application of a knowledge is wisdom. So if you know something, how you apply it accurately is wisdom. So you've thought about and imagined what that future could be and what you want to become. You're planning it. That's what you're writing as a vision. Now, what is the right way to apply it down? Now, that guides your vision into fruition, how it becomes alive. And it's very important that you have that as clear as possible. And this is the first episode in their agribusiness millionaire mindsets. And I hope you're able to come out with it. The task in this episode is simple. What is your vision? If you don't have it written before, kindly write it down. If you've written it before, look at it. Is it clear? Is it succinct? Is it something that is easy to explain? And you can tell people who can catch the fire within it. All right. Thank you so much for listening. The next episode, we'll be talking about who your audiences are and why it's very, very important that you know them. Thank you. Yes, good morning once again. So we are, of course, you've listened to the introduction, which I expect or I hope would cheer you up and encourage you to want to be involved or be part of this whole session, right? And you've gotten to hear about what your vision is like. If you don't have, you have to write it. If you got, is it clear enough and all of that. Now, in this particular episode, we'll be talking about who are your audience, right? Audiences, it depends, right? So it's very, very key to know who your audience are, right? You cannot become a millionaire by selling to just 10 people or selling your product to just 20 people, except your product is being sold by, if each of your products is being sold at $200,000 per one, then you having just 10 people or 20 people may be enough. But if your product is not selling for 100 or $20,000 per one, then of course being a millionaire, it's just not realistic for you. So if your product is being sold for say like $1,000 or $2,000, right? That then you know you've got a long way to go and a lot of people to convince to get your product, right? And there's a lot that goes into product to even be able to sell, make profit enough for you to become a millionaire. You see, being a millionaire is not a state of you, just with the fact that your business can actually draw in 1.4 billion naira or $1 million per year into your business. That's not how you become millionaire. You become millionaire by having that excess liquidity to live that life, right? Now, if your business is worth $1 million, then you're not yet a $1 million personality, even though you own the stake. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have 100% of the stake in that business, right, and you don't have to share your equity or shares with anybody, then fine, you own 100%. Then we can count that for you. But if you're not the 100% owner of such business, then you're not yet there. But when your business advances more, it opens you up to this unique prospect and opportunity of becoming a millionaire doing agricultural businesses. So, who are your audiences? You've understand your vision. It's clearly written. You've written it down. You understand it. It's not that difficult. It's not ambiguous. It is clear to explain. For example, I said mine was supercharging food security and stability across Africa, right? So the audience I want to target is simple. Who needs food security? Who are the biggest benefactors of food security? Well, for me, um, there are a lot of impoverished people in Nigeria that are lacking basic stable diets, right? And there are other people across other parts of the continent outside Africa that actually need certain products. Now, for me, food security in those places cannot be everything. I can't do everything. So I have to target a singular entity I want to serve. It could also be I could focus on the rice value chain, for example, and say this is where I want to put my biggest impact in. For now, I want to make my mark in the rice value chain. And okay, Nigeria is having shortage in rice value chain. Okay, what do I bring put together to do that? I mean, we also decide that okay, that rice is not what I want to do anymore. I want to go into cassava value chain, right? Now, Nigeria is the largest producer. How do we expand this and make it bigger? How does Nigeria not just feed itself on cassava, but feed the other countries in Africa? Now, this your vision should start spurring you on what you want to do. Enough to not target. Okay, Africans are my target. Nigerians are my target. Okay, in Nigeria right now, roughly 60% of the country uses one or two, or uses cassava, one or two products that have cassava as its raw material, right? So my audience are roughly 60 million people, or two-thirds of the whole country. Now you understand your audience. Okay, how do they get these products? Do I sell directly to them, or I sell to someone that processes into a different product and sell to them, right? Who are your audience, and how much are they willing to buy the product you're offering, directly or indirectly? You need to know who are the people that likely will be at the other end of the product you're putting in place. Remember that your vision is your destination, right? And that destination is quite very long. However, the audience are the spectators in that in that on your way to that destination. What we are serving on your way to that destination. That at the end of that destination, everybody at that destination will now be people that have benefited from something that you want to achieve. So your audiences are your spectators and your pathway to your destination, right? Your spectators on your pathway to your destination. And it has to be very clear, because if you satisfy them, they will help you get to your destination. For example, someone that is on a journey, let's say from Nigeria to South Africa, right? And he wants to take the road trip as opposed to a flight. Your grab wants to take a road trip as opposed to a flight. He's going to go through several countries or several communities and several regions. And as he gets there, right? If he keeps a mean attitude, or he keeps an unfriendly spirit while he's going on this trip, he's going to face a lot of obstacles that may end his trip or his vision. His vision is to get to South Africa by road trip, right? And if he doesn't compose himself along his paths or try to be open to diversity, he may eventually not get his destination. But as he travels, he understands their different cultures, he acclimatizes with them, he does his best for them, they also help him. He offers them services, offers them kindness, offers them something, and then they offer him back their help that may help him go from where he is to the next place. On your path to your destination, you need to put your product in people's eyes and people's hand, and they have to pay you value for it, whether in kind or in for finances. Now, who are those audience? You need to know them, and once you know them, they will help you. They'll buy into your products. Some of them will buy crazily into your products. Some of them will need a lot of encouraging, but then they will still buy at the end of the day. Now, the more they buy from you, the more they expand, the more they drive your need to expand that business and do more. So you need to understand this audience to be able to leverage them to make the money you require. You grab. And you can't, if your audience is not big enough, at the point of thinking of your audience, and your audience is not giving you enough confidence, they are not big, they are not expanded enough, then you're going to have issues becoming a millionaire from that system. You need to go to a vision that has high impact, that the impact is quite high on other people, and that's where you can literally make money from. When you solve real problems, people will pay you money for it. There's a difference between pain problems and pain points and vitamin problems, right? Every entrepreneurship that goes through a vivid and clear learning process know that there's a painkiller problem and there's a vitamin problem. Now, you should always target the painkillers. Vitamin problems are also good, but always find a way to target the painkillers, because in Africa, those may just be defining factors of what defines the success you eventually make in the agricultural sector or not. I hope this works for you, right? So the key points in this particular episode is who are your audience, right? And what do you have to do to get them on your site to buy from you? If they are not big enough, then you may want to consider another vision that may be able to help you attract the kind of things or the kind of people you need to sell service to get your value back. All right. Thank you so much. The next topic will be, where are this audience located? You need to know where they are located, and I do hope you gain something from it. Thank you. Yes, good morning. Now we'll be talking about where are the audience located. We've talked about the vision. We've first talked about who your audiences are. Now we're talking about where are they located, right? Where are they located? You don't just have audience scattered, but they have to be in a place. For example, let's take our industrialist Dangote, for example. When he wanted to start his business, right, he understood his market is from Nigeria initially, and he target Nigeria, and then he started saving them, and eventually he started producing the cement that he was initially buying and bagging. He was buying rice, buying cement, all of those things. He was bagging it and reselling. At some point, then he moved into production to serve the people in Nigeria, and he started doing that. And then, before you know, he moved into rice. He started bagging it. He went into sugar. Initially, was buying and bagging. Now he's producing, buying and bagging, right? And then, of course, now he's in the petrochemical space. He's in the petroleum space, and he's doing the same thing, right? He's producing and then selling as well. His primary market is clear. He started just with one cement factory. Now he has in over 10 African countries. Now, you need to know where your audiences are located, and you need to be able to meet them in those areas. You can't do a business that you don't know where they are located, right? So, if you say, for example, you want to make, let's go into fashion, for example, you want to make streetwears. Are the people in the country or the region you are interested in streetwears? Now, if you say you want to sell online, right, are they proximal to where it will be easy for you to ship your product to or take your product to? Now, where are they located? Whether it is virtually or it's physically, where are they located? You need to know the answer. So, as an agricultural business personality, for example, you need to know this. If, for example, you're producing poultry products, let's say you're into poultry layers, you produce egg, right? Where are your audience located? For a poultry business personality, you need to know that where they're located is very, very key to you. Very, 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 very important to you. Uh, um, if your market, right, is too far from you, then are they going to come to your farm to pick the product, or you go and be giving it to them in their territories? That's a very costly system, right? If you want to be giving it to them in their territories, have you calculated it? Have you added it to your cost of product? Now, all these things matter a whole lot, because where they are located determines how it will be easy to uptake your product. Now, you may have a fantastic product. You've done your vision mapping. You've, of course, understand who your audiences are. You know who they are, right? Um they are men and women in their late 30s, right? Between the age of 30 and 60 are the demographic people that will use your products, or that would buy your food material, or your egg covers demographics of both 10 or 5 years of age to as high as 50 years of age. You know, those are your market, these are your audiences. Now, how are they located? They are located in a certain state or in a certain region. Now, how do you now reach them? If you've gone out of your way to go and produce in a place that is far difficult to reach them. So you need to know where they are and use that to guide your production, your operation, how you venture into that space. You see, you want to be a millionaire, right? You can't be targeting small audience, right? You can't target audience that small. You could start from there, but you can't target small audience. You have to find the way that you can move. Where you are, is it a place where you can scale up? And if you decide to scale up, what would the cost of scaling become for you, right? And if you say, okay, you do that, now where you are is not where you want to scale up from, then how much will it cost you to take yourself from that place to the place you want to scale up from? Sometimes people have to start their business from a smaller place where it's convenient, and then they can move up. So what will the cost be to you? Do you think you can meet up with that cost when the time is right, or you will struggle to meet up with that cost? Where your audience is located is very, very important. Else, you will be struggling and you will have a lot of issues. And it's not part. Of course, obstacles are only natural on your pathway to success, or your pathway to become a millionaire. But if it becomes too much, it may mean your downfall. It may break your zeal. It may break your commitment. It may break your motivation to get to where you want to get to. You can't have that, right? In agribusiness, it is tough alone being in the agribusiness sector. You don't want to add unavoidable challenges to it. And it's not only poultry per se, it's a cassava as well. That's crop farming. You want to understand that your audience, for example, you are targeting ethanol producers, right? Your cassava, you're targeting it as ethanol producers, people that are producing ethanol. And you know that the nearest factory to you is close to 400 kilometers away from where you are. Now, how would you make that trip? Now, you want to communicate with them. Have you considered getting a land proximal to where they are? And if that's not the case, you couldn't find land for where they are. Did you, for the first of all, calculate the logistical cost of moving them through trailer? Who pays that money, right? Who provide that money? Is it part of the way you build, right? These are thoughts that you must have, because if you consider where your audience is, it's 400 kilometers away. Now, where you are. So how do you achieve that result? Where your farm is located, or where your business is located, matters to where your audience are, because there's something called nearness to raw material. Those statements are not there for joke. They are very, very important. You want to be close to raw material. You also want to be accessible to your audience. And these things are very important. I believe when we're thinking about agribusiness millionaire mindsets, this topic has to resonate with you. Well, that's all I'll be saying as regarding where your audience are located. The next thing we'll be talking about is what will your vision cost you, right? You have to understand the cost implications of what you want to become. And I am certain once you understand that, you will do a lot of wonders. All right. See you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Yes, good morning. In this particular episode, we'll be talking about what will your vision cost you. So we've started this agribusiness millionaire mindset series, and I've tried to keep it as short as possible to spur easy digestibility. And when you listen to things on a repetitive level, it makes a lot of impact, and you're able to get what you need. Of course, and the key takeaway from your vision is, it has to be clear, it has to be simple. Key takeaway from who are your audience is, you have to be able to articulate who the people you're trying to give your product to, who are they. You need to be clear about them, how big they are. They can't be small. They can't be small, except you're selling something that is worth hundreds or millions of dollars. Now, those considerations are very important. Of course, where are your audience located also matters, because you don't want to produce too far from them, because it's going to affect you in terms of your overall costs, and eventually this thing may come back to cripple your opportunities that you've identified, rightly so. Now, in this particular one, we're looking at what will your vision cost you, right? Your vision will cost you a whole lot. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you resources. It's going to cost you your energy. It's going to cost you relationships. It's going to cost you emotion. It's going to cost you a lot of things. You say true visions drives the visionaire. I'll say it again. True visions drives the vision. Now, it means true visionaires are slaves of their vision, right? Now, tell me a man that is a billionaire today, a millionaire today, or is well known and refined on what he does, whose vision had not enslaved him. You need to be slave to your vision, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad slave. No, no, it's a good slavery. You need to bring yourself into the full habitation of your vision. You have to live, speak, breathe, express your vision every day, right? You can't afford not to be. If you're not living in the full consciousness of your vision, then you are not yet a visionaire, right? People that change the world as a vision, right? Live and breathe their vision. And it doesn't matter where you put them there. Give them long enough time. Give them 1 year. Before you know, they will convert their new atmosphere to their vision, right? And that's who they are. Visionaires transform everything around them to look in a singular item. And that's what you need to be. So if you're in that space, it will cost you. Because of that cost is why you can't afford to just jump into anything, right? You need to know what you stand for. You need to know what you want. There are many ways to a stream. However, the stream still means a destination. So you need to be clear about your destination, your vision, and what it will cost you. Well, let's think about financial implications of your vision, right? Your vision requires money to come alive. It requires ample lots of money. Now, that money is not what determines if you'll be alive in business or not. It is what determines how you survive while you're in business. I see a lot of people tell me that, oh, if I can just get 2 million naira today, I'll know what to do with it. The truth there, you won't know what to do with it except you already know what you're doing, right? The first thing you do in a business is never the money part. The first thing you do in a business is preparation. Similarly to the fact that the first thing you do before building a house is to make a plan, right? And that first plan involves you speaking to certain people, right? For example, you want to start building house, you want to speak to engineers, you want to speak to bricklayers, you want to know the costing, you want to understand what it will cost you to even go into that space. Well, how much you speak to architect, this is what I look at building, then they will tell you what it is. After you've done doing all the preliminaries, that's when you now, okay, oh, how much am I paying you for your service, right? And that's it. So once you want to start anything, the first thing first is counting the costs. Once you count the costs, then you can now look at, how do I now get this fund? Now the fund now is not going to be, if it's coming personally from you, then you put it in place. If it's not coming from you, then the next thing you're looking at is, you have to, okay, what can I get it from? Am I bootstrapping? Am I getting it from friends and family? Am I getting it from network of colleagues? Where are you getting it from? Now, if you're getting it from a lot of people, what are you giving back in return? Nobody gives you free. There's no free money. There's nothing free in Freetown, right? Even we that we are giving out cassava, free farmland right now, it's with the understanding that we want to achieve a purpose, And I then understand that together is a very together is the only way we can achieve it. The idea is not for us to just say, okay, we are trying to be philanthropic, we're trying to be so good. No, 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 no. We want what we are offering is more like an incentive for us and our partners to get to the right destination together, right? The cassava has a lot of opportunity, but a lot of people are scared to go into it. They're going into farming generally because of the rising cost in the country. To make sure that they're able to go into it with less cost, before you know, there are how will I call it? There are incentives we are putting in place. One, reducing the cost of leasing the land for them, but equally reducing the cost of getting the document post leasing the land, right? To ensure that they are spending 20, 30,000 and lesser. That's one. Putting them now in a cluster program is going to reduce their money further because if they are individually going to spend 80, 100,000 on staffing per person, which in a cluster program they might spend less, like 10,000 less or 20,000 less. Now, if you combine odd money with reducing, we're reducing about 50,000 naira for them per person. Now, that is a concept. Now, at the end of the day, what do we get back in return? Of course, if we're helping them to co-manage, we're expecting a percentage of their net profit. And if they are coming to the program, of course, we become the primary buyer of all the product, making them to our own partners, right? Helping us boost our image with our partners and opening us up for an aggregator status with our partners. So it's a win-win that we are willing to be the first to say, okay, we're giving this to bring you guys in, right? And then you guys are saying, okay, because you're putting this foot forward, we are willing to do business with you. So it's going to cost you financially. What are you putting in place to handle the financial constraints that will come with your vision, right? And now, outside that, your time vision. For example, I work very late into the night. There are times I'm sleeping 4 a.m., I'm sleeping 5 a.m. I've been doing that now for the past 8 years. I've been sleeping late for the past 8 years. Like I even want to calculate how much of the past 8 years I've literally slept early. When I mean early, like 9 p.m. in the night or 10 or 11 p.m. in the night, I would say just less than 20% of my time in the past 8 years, right? 8% of the time in the past 8 years, I have actually slept between the hours of 1 to a.m. to actually 6 a.m., 5 a.m. rather, not 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And then I try to wake up around 7 to 8. Or the perks of opportunity being an entrepreneur, most of the time you have the luxury to wake up around 8 in the morning. But then of course I'm sleeping around 4, 5 in the morning to wake up around 8 in the morning. So those things are the opportunity. The time factor is there. What about relationship costs? Now, when you're in entrepreneurship and you're being driven by your vision, you may not have a lot of time for a lot of people, right? Of course, beside whoever you call partner, spouse, or what, or you're in a relationship with. Outside that, you may not have time for a lot of people, right? You're going to be consumed in what you're doing. So you have to know that what is the cost to you, right? Because if you are really, really serious about building that future, there's so much it's going to require from you. What will your vision cost you? Millionaires are those people that are millionaires don't have too many time to spare. You can barely even get them to spend 1 hour listening to what you have to say. Even when you want to pitch to them to partner with them, you don't have 30 minutes. You don't even have 10 minutes. You'll be lucky if they even give you 5 minutes to talk to them. So it's very important that you understand that people that actually build visionaries that are encapsulated in their visions do not have the time because they have sold everything out to the vision they are building. And except you have that cost, that understanding, you will not be able to forge ahead in your millionaire mindset that you're building to become a millionaire in the agricultural sector. So what are the key takeaways of this? You have to understand the cost, financial, time costs, relationship costs, and every other cost that comes with building what you want to build. I do hope this works. The next topic we'll be looking at is what is the risk attached to your vision, right? There's a risk attached to it. We'll be looking at it in the next episode. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode. Lastly, good morning. Thank you so much for following through with all the sessions. This is the sixth episode, and put us after the introduction, if you're not counting the introduction, about agribusiness millionaire mindset. And in this last episode, we'll be talking about partnership. Getting to your vision. Partnership, getting to your vision. To get your vision, you need partners. I'm not going to do a summary of everything I've said up to episode 6 because I don't want to consume so much time. However, you need partners. You see, my mentor initially, the one that adds it is in the cashew value chain, right? As I said, some women like, how did they achieve that in less than 6 years, doing billions and transaction and all just from one product? No follow it has other products it does. yes, partner matters, but partner will never come to you except they see that you yourself know what you are doing, right? Okay, for example, I'm someone that I've worked with several partners. I've got several partners, indirectly and direct partners. I've got them a lot, both within and outside Nigeria. I've worked with a lot of people. I've partnered with a lot of people. I've gone to business with some people and we've succeeded. I've gone to business with some people and we've failed. So I've had experience with several partners. But then I won't lie to you. There are people that we've gone to business together and we've failed two, three times and we're still in business together up to now. Right? We've done different things and we've failed at them and then we're still in business again. The reason there is that nobody would invest into your business if you yourself don't have resilience, right? So you are your first market. You are your first chief marketing officer. You are your first chief visionary officer. You're the CEO. You're everything. You're the first everything of your business. And if your vision, you're not sold in it, that brings back to the beginning. You have to be encapsulated in your vision, and that's when you become a visionary. And what people see and they partner with you is that vision. They see it in you, they see the fire burning in you, and they can articulate that fire, they join you to do it, right? They provide you the fund. See, there are a lot of people that are working 9 to 5 across the globe that are from Nigeria or that are from Africa that want to partner with you to do great things. They don't have the time, or they've lost the time, for one reason or the other, building wealth in something else. But this is where they want to be in. This is where they want to put their roots in. All they just need to see is your vision and they are willing to help you. But as I said, you don't have so much. You don't have an inexhaustible partnership level. Nobody has a blank check of partners, right? The only way you keep having more and more partners are if you keep proving and proving success after one milestone to another. That's when they keep increasing. But with wrong, like you keep having bad milestone, bad milestone, bad milestone, bad milestone. You get to a point where your well of partnership dries up, right? So you need to always learn to churn out great record, churn out great record, know what you're doing. That's why you have to be very careful, articulate clearly what you're trying to do, understand what those audience are and how you can get to them, understand how soon they can meet, what are the metric expecting. If money is not the initial success metric that you'll be using, what is the success metric that you'll be counting? Is it the number of audience you're able to capture per time? Is it the number of locations you're able to cover per time? Is it the number of products you're able to produce per time? These things has to be clear. Your KPI, key performance index, has to be very, very clear. And that's how you get partners. And when partner comes into your business, they pour fund into it. You see, you may not have the money you need to scale what you're trying to do. But by having partners that you can be responsible to, you can be accountable to, before you know, you're jumping the scale of success, moving from one level to another. So who are you partnering with? Don't get it wrong. You may think partnership is all about the money. Some people will not bring money to your business, but they will connect you to the person that will give you that. Some people will never give you money, but they'll connect you to somebody that's going to open you up to a different market, right? So what you're producing, for example, now you're producing cassava for Nigeria, but because of the connections you have, next thing is you're producing cassava for the whole of Africa, or you're producing to export to Canada, export to Europe, or export to Asia, right? Because of the partnership that you have. Your partners can take you from ground zero to ground 100. So that's why you want to understand who you'll be partnering with. Is it partner during production, partner during marketing, partner during expansion, partner through business acquisition, partner, what level of partnership are you looking at? Because even the partnership would bring about either a merger or an acquisition in the future. You need to understand what a partnership. I need to put yourself out there so people can interact with you. They can do business with you. They can be part of your story. They can bring success to it and they can bring expansion to it. So you need to become very clear about where you are and where you want to become. And that way you'll be able to bring partners to your vision. Partners elevate the status of a business. And that's singular truth. But not all partners are for you. Because sometimes if you have the wrong partners, they can actually divide and kill the business or even usurp your business. There are cases where businesses have been usurped by the wrong partners. So you have to be very careful. Does your vision align? Are your partners willing to allow your creativity to blossom? Of course, it's important that some people's creativity should be curbed. But if your creativity is not toxic, are your partner willing to help allow it to blossom? Because some partners come and curb creativity. You don't want that. But you also want to make sure that you're someone that is accountable and not a dictator in your business. It's very, very important and it will change a lot of things for you. And this is where I'm going to be putting a pen to the topic Agribusiness Millionaires Mindsets. Well, it's been very interesting 6 episodes. I do hope you listen to every bit of it. It's not that much. As I said, within an hour, small minutes more, you're done with the whole content. I have decided to break it down so that you are not overwhelmed by listening to a long content, but instead you're able to go through it at your pace on your own. I do hope this works and helps you so much. I do hope it improves your concept of how you want to become a millionaire in the agricultural sector and how you want to get across to it. I'm always available for further questions. You just have to reach out to me. I'm so easy to find. I won't lie to you. Literally, I'm so easy. Going to on Google and just pressing my name, Adeni Shureme alone would pop up several. I've got websites, I've got podcasts, I've got articles, I've got a blog, I've got an social media. Just my name alone is enough to. You can reach out to me anywhere. Like my WhatsApp. I'm literally everywhere. You just type my name on Google and that's it. Before you know, you're chatting me on many platforms. So you want me to be involved, please do. Of course, you want to be part of my vision. I'm so eager to see you. Right? I've got a lot I'm building and I require partners that are committed to achieve it. If you think you're that partner that can work with me to achieve and supercharge food security and sustainability in Africa, please contact me. I promise you won't regret it, right? This is my ninth year, and I've got a lot of people to stand for me because I keep striving. I've had bad days and I've had great days, and I'm not going to tell you that it's always been a smooth ride in the park. There are days where it is, I just want to open the window of heaven and like have a fresh air. But then that's the truth. I know what I'm into and I know what it entails, and I'm always giving my best to it every day. I do hope you're doing so on your path as well. Thank you so much for your time. I do wish you a wonderful time. Bye. Good morning. And thank you for following through with this series so far. In this episode, we're talking about what is the risk attached to your vision. Of course, we are still talking about the agribusiness millionaires mindset. And we've gone through the vision, the audience, the location, and then the cost of your vision. Now we're talking about the risk attached to your vision. Please do not have that thought that there's no risk in what you want to do. There's a several level of risk in what you are thinking right now. If you've gone through your visions and you're clear about it, right? Then one of the things you know is that it will take you time to get to where you want to get to. See, millionaires are not built in a day. You grab, particularly, I'm talking about dollar millionaires. I'm talking about naira ones. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just bring a product in the morning and in the night you're already $1 million personality. It doesn't work that way. All right. If you're going to be a millionaire personality in the next 1-2 years, for some, then today they have to be something you're doing, right? But like the agribusiness, if you want to be in the next 4 years, they have something you're doing today. Some people within a year will hit that milestone. Some within 2 years to hit that milestone. Some will take 10 years to hit that milestone. Some will take 20 to hit that milestone. Why some will take 100? Some might not even meet that top because then they started a vision, but then they don't start what they were doing. But somewhere there is, it's not the same. Your level of understanding right now determines how the duration and pace at which you get to that status. You see, let's take Huawei for example. The founder of Huawei, um, oh, I researched and found out that he started Huawei at 44, at 44, 37 years ago. He started Huawei at 44, 37 years ago, 1987. And when he started Huawei, it started just by producing networked equipment, and then they were making um, modems and the other thing, connectivity, basic, right? And they were not manufacturing it. They were buying a brand, a unbranded one. They're branding themselves and selling from a company in Hong Kong, right? And because at 44, you already had some skill, some knowledge, you had some resolve, it was determined, you knew what you wanted and all of those things. And before you know, in just 5 years, they're already doing over 30 million, over $25 million in revenue already in just less than 5 years because he knew exactly what he wanted. Which, if it's safe to assume, is safe to assume that within the first 3 years, there were over $10 million in revenue already. Now, he knows what he wanted. So in that instances, if you're in that space and you're able to clearly articulate your vision very well and the pathway to it. Within a year, you may break out the status. There's no big deal, even in some few months. But then, if you don't have all of these things, you will be looking at longer duration than those that have this clarity. So there are risks attached to it because it's either you take it or go home, right? You take it all or go home without anything at all. You see, building visions actually make or break people, and that's the actual truth, right? Your failure does not break you, and your success does not make you, right? Every success you make is a tick in the right way on your pathway to becoming who you are meant to be, who you originally want to be. And every failure on that pathway is just a lesson gap for you to pick up and learn better and become better at it. So you have to understand that there are risks attached to building visions, right? There are risks you could literally be wasting your time and your life. But at the same time, the weight of the value, the weight of benefit that comes with building the right vision can never be compared with the challenges and the risk that your mind may attack may attach to it. Let me take for example, fear is something that kept the greatest ideas from coming to life or being materialized. The signal that fear puts in people, right, is it's so strong that if you don't have strong system, you would stay in the same place all your life. Of course, of course, as a farmer, as someone that works in the agriculture sector, I travel around a lot and I go to a lot of local communities, a lot of rural communities. And then I speak to people that have had their grandfather was born and bred and died in a community. Then the father came and did the same. Then the son is also trailing that same path and is about to leave and die in that same community. And then you have four generations of people that are living and are likely to die in that same community, right? That the ability not to live and not to be able to think outside the box is why they're having those experiences, right? There's the word is out there to be subdued. But then if you don't take action, you're not gonna get there. But then taking action, before you know, the rest your fear is gonna come. And when that fear comes, it's your absolute duty to silence it, right? When that fear comes, it's your absolute duty to silence that voice. Take away the fear and the risk, no matter what they are, and then tell yourself that I'm not going back except I'm taking it all, right? I'm gonna take it all. I'm not gonna go on empty. And then if empty is the case, then I won't mind going. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example. Of course, this is a story of one of the movie director. I'm trying not to use a lot of names when I'm calling my mentors, right? I'm trying not to use name because I have not taken their permission to share their stories. They will know when they listen to the story anyway. But I've not taken permission to share their story with the audience. But then it comes in the heat of moment. This person is in the movie space, right? They produced one of the biggest movie in Hollywood so far. One of the biggest movie. He's responsible for about three out of the top 10 biggest budget Nollywood movie in Nigeria right now. And we met when we are talking, and he got me a burger. So as I said, he would know I'm talking about him if he ever gets to hear this voice message or this podcast. But then when we're speaking together, he told me that in my studio right now, I'm in Turkey right now, and of course I'm speaking to them. I'm roaming, and we are discussing. But of course, I asked him. I said, "How were you able to achieve all of this in so short?" Well, to me it was short, but to him it was a lifetime, considering the obstacles he had to go through to get to that space. And he told me, saying, when I was in my final year in Yabatech, right, I was a session away from graduation, and I had a good result. But then I knew if I had graduated, I wouldn't have been able to see this business to the end. I would have always felt like I had a backup option. And that backup option that I have, anytime this does not work, I would want to fall back on that backup option. And I don't want that. I want to know that if this failed, then I failed. And that's why. And then he dropped out from school. And by dropping out of school, he focused on that business. And today, he's been invited across the globe to talk about building um, very, very quality business studio, right? That produces top-notch movies with superb qualities. And then he has an animation part as well that they produce very great animations to educate Africans on several things. Now, if he didn't take that decision to become that person, knowing fully well the risk he was putting on the line, he won't get where he's going to. Now, of course, I respect him so much. I see him in news and I'm like, You've impacted my life in ways you don't know yet. But then that's the truth. Even I go agribusiness, you need to understand this concept, or else you may not just succeed at it. So your risk has to be clear. You need to count it. You need to be sure. You need to know what it is that you're paying, right? Some people, their risk in going into business is marriage, right? More often times than not, we don't like discussing it. But the truth is, some people sacrifice marriage for business, right? Some people sacrifice childbearing for business. Some people sacrifice their peace of mind for business. Some people sacrifice family for business. Some people sacrifice their life savings to build something, despite knowing that it may fail, right? But at the end of the day, you should learn that no matter what you put into it, you are absolutely responsible for how it turns out. Now, you and that's why you can't give up, right? Do you know how people tell you to give up? There was a man I met a while back. No, I don't want to take longer time. Okay, let me just quickly talk about. Yes, I met a man in 2018, and then we are talking about I tried to explain the vision I have for agriculture for the person, and it was like saying, "Really, what's your name?" I said, "The business name is Dofma." It was like Dofma. Really, that's a very very complicated name to give to an agricultural business. I said, well, it will be difficult for it to succeed. However, I'm not saying that other company with names are not what it is doesn't succeed. And it reference Volkswagen and the rest. They are difficult names to pronounce, but then they are corporate that succeeded. But he doesn't think he is having doubt about my own success. And in my mind, I told myself, I said, this is one of the people I have to prove wrong in life, right? And now that was 2018. Today, this is 6 years after, and I'm still going to prove him wrong because I'm doing better than I was when I met him, and I'm still going to do better than when next he sees me. But then that is it, right? There are several obstacles along your path. You need to understand them, write them down, be clear about them, and so you can achieve greater results, right? So understand risks attached to your vision and know what you're paying to achieve what you want. Thanks so much for this episode. We'll be talking about the last episode. You're talking about partnership to getting your vision, and that's the last episode. And I hope you get something concrete from this. Thank you.